Welcome to the Predictable Revenue Podcast, where sales leaders teach you what's working for them and how you can build it yourself.
This episode of the Predictable Revenue Podcast is brought to you by our sales coaching and consulting services. Are you looking to create repeatable, scalable, and predictable revenue? We've helped thousands of companies grow their business with tailored expert advice backed by testing to ensure they establish the best practices that'll work for them. Head over to bit.ly/predictable revenue coaching to learn more.
Motivation is a big challenge for many sales organizations, especially coming into the summer months where, depending on the market that you're selling into, things might be slowing down. There might be more distracting, attractive things outside of the desk, outside of the office. But that doesn't mean that there's not still a target that we need to hit in the year. So as a sales manager, if you're not using the right tools and the right strategies to keep both yourself and your team motivated, then your culture is going to suffer, but you're also not going to hit your revenue targets, which of course is the goal. So I'm your host, Sarah Hicks, and today on the Predictable Revenue Podcast, I'm going to be chatting to an expert who is actually a repeat expert on this podcast. One of the actually very first people that I ever interviewed on the podcast when I took it over. So very nice to have him back. But we are going to talk about how to become a motivational sales leader. So my guest is the founder of Sales Manager Now, and it's a fractional sales management consulting firm. He's also the author of the book Part-Time Sales Management, and he's one of the pioneers of the fractional sales management industry, and he loves to share about that. So that's why we've got him back. Rene Zamora, welcome back to the Predictable Revenue Podcast.
Sarah, I'm all pumped up.
Me too.
I'm motivated.
Okay, good. I'm glad. Me too. I'm motivated. So give me your, I guess your thoughts on motivation, having been both a sales manager for your own teams, but also in this fractional capacity for many years. Tell me your thoughts on motivation that you've kind of learned over the years.
Well, I hope if you're a manager, you're there because you were a motivated person. So, I mean, just from a sales management standpoint, we have to hire motivated people. So you should be doing good assessments to see if they have that drive. I mean, if they don't have the drive, I've seen many business owners believe they can turn it on in someone, and it's they just need to be doing accounting work, okay, not be in the sales department. So first thing is just bringing your game. But I think related to that, it's like being motivated for sales is so different than being motivated as a sales leader. I'm working recently with someone that I handed off a team that I was developing some managers, and now he came in to actually manage managers, and he'd never done that before. So he's used to just being in there doing the work, getting the, part of the motivation we get in sales is, first we're driven to hit a goal, but then it kind of snowballs when we're hitting those goals and we're getting those wins and the yeses, and you're like, yeah, you get a little more juice in you and you just keep going. As a sales leader, your goal is to not do that. At least the way I develop my leaders is, my leaders are looking to get their people to be successful and get that hit and that joy that we used to get when we were selling. And our joy as a sales leader is to be able to see them succeed. Okay, so how do we stay motivated in that standpoint? What should we focus on? We can't call more people, although that is a trap that some leaders will fall into. They just start checking on their people all the time because they're doing their follow-up calls, so to speak. Well, that's not it. What it is really, it boils down to two things, I think, for sales leaders. One is remove obstacles for your team and provide tools. It's really that simple. Just like in sales, having a list, knowing your script, your comfortable script, dealing with concerns, having great conversations. In leadership, clear expectations, remove obstacles, provide tools. So I think those are the two biggest things we can focus on, and we can elaborate all you want. Sarah, so where do you want to take me?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. So let's talk about removing obstacles. So that's kind of that first key piece there. So what obstacles are you looking to remove?
Well, anything, first off, that's a concern for the team. So you want to put your big ears on in your sales meetings and listen. I can remember taking over a sales team that, so as a fractional, we just come in and there's usually teams there and they are what they are. And a lot of times they've had some neglect. And so basically this team's meetings were about complaining. They dogpiled every problem that was going on, out there in the the sales world and their environment or their internal office, man, it was like, sick. It was sickening. Okay. So we had to, I had to set some boundaries there regarding that. But bottom line is, when salespeople are complaining a lot, it's like a kid or like any person, any relationship, when you start getting louder, it means you don't feel like you're being heard. Just like a customer, when they start complaining loud, they don't think anyone's hearing them. And then when the boss comes in, they've already complained once and they're quiet. They've been heard. Okay. So when your people are like that, listen, find out what's going on. Now, the thing is, the real skill here is not just hearing the complaint and the symptoms. The skill as a leader and a manager to remove an obstacles, we got to get down to the core issue. What is the real problem? Okay, so the delivery isn't happening. The promises we make aren't being kept. Why? Where's the bottleneck? As a leader, you need to go backwards instead of just saying, hey, our product's not getting there. Our product's not getting there. Get it there. Okay, well, everyone kind of knows that already. Why? Go to your leadership team, find out where that problem is. Maybe it's in some form we use that's screwing us up. Maybe it's in communication. Maybe it's in software. I don't know. It's somewhere. But get in there and dig it out, fix it, come back to your team and say, that systemic problem is fixed. That builds motivation. When salespeople start seeing, my leader listens, fixes problems, so I could do better, it's good. It's what we should be doing for them, because all we're trying to do is help them make it as easy as possible for them to exercise their ability of going and getting our number for the company. So that's part of removing obstacles, just being really good at getting to core issues. Don't hear the noise and go help solve that problem.
Okay, very cool. What are I guess some of the most common obstacles that you do see when you're going in and working as a fractional manager? What are some of those ones that maybe those managers that are overworked are overlooking?
Let's see. Some of the common obstacles, just not, anything. There's small things. I said, I don't know. I can't say there's a common, okay, but it could be anything from, complete product information isn't given to them. So they don't have all the information to answer all the questions that their customers are asking. So any piece of information that is not complete, many times in other departments, if they know something really well, they pass it on incomplete, thinking that it satisfies their knowledge, but they're not thinking about what the next person needs, who actually has to explain it to someone who doesn't understand it. And so making sure all the information is there on any product or service is really important. Any little details. I was just talking to a company, and so that's, those are some obstacles there. The other one, the big one, actually most common in every company, communication. Okay. It's in every company, communication problems. Are people understanding what the messages are meant to be said? Is there trust levels within the different departments? So, we even go in at companies and help that. It's not what we're signed up to do, but as a caring leader in any organization, if you're noticing that, wow, there's some communication issues here, like we're not getting people in the room. We invite other departments into our sales meetings. So we want other departments, if it's accounting or if it's delivery or technical developers, come on in, share what you need from us, hear what we need from you. And then bring another department in another week or month and help bridge that communication rather than staying siloed and hoping emails and text messages are taking care of it. So, one-to-one communication is huge to remove obstacles that are getting in the way of salespeople. Yep.
Nice. Very cool. And then what about the other piece of it you mentioned? So we've got the removing obstacles, but then there's using tools and systems to, I guess, enable or increase, kind of the opposite of the removing of obstacles.
And probably a lot of what you do as far as tools and everything, just getting all the processes and systems down, making sure, tools, we think about, CRM and apps and different things like that, from calling tools or whatever. But I'm also just talking about tools like clear expectations. What is expected of this person every day? What is expected of them every month, every year? You're getting all that documented. what's our process? What do we expect them to actually do, within the job, within a conversation? The tools of handling objections, the tools of, working around different type of scenarios, when to bring tools of resources. Hey, we have a technical expert that'll come in on this call with you when you need them, or you can schedule that. That's a tool, someone else to help them get to the end goal, which is people interested or people buying, whatever their particular role is. So those are some tools. Anything from, technical to systemic, and then you see these books on my back shelf, training. We do book studies with our teams a lot. So rather than bringing them to some outside training all the time, we'll go through a book called, A Mind for Sales, or Let's Get Real, or Let's Not Play. We got Conversations That Win the Complex Sale. We'll just do a study. We'll take a chapter, and then that week we'll kind of discuss what did you learn from it, get some takeaways, and then kind of commit to what we'll apply each week. And the teams just kind of get a good learning sense of that. So that's another tool you can provide your teams to help keep their motivation up. Bottom line, like we're trying to do, if you think of it on a racetrack, remove the obstacles, get all the rocks and everything out of the way so they can go fast, and give them the tools up their car so they can just go run really fast. Now, guess what? You can tell them, go do it, get it done. No excuses. Get out there and do your job.
Absolutely. Okay, cool. So that's a lot of what sales managers can do to kind of prepare their people, get their people motivated, all of that stuff. What about from the actual salesperson perspective? What do you think that individual needs to sort of take responsibility for with their own motivation?
Yeah, they need to be more in tune with what's going on. Okay, because someone taught me really early that if my energy's down or my attitude's even just a little bit off, it's kind of like having a hole in my pocket with a pocket of coins, and the coins are just falling out. And that's just how our day is as a salesperson. We don't get the luxury to be okay today. We have to be 100% on. So what can you do? Well, so first is recognize it. If you don't know that you're not 100% on, then you can't do much about it. Because even reading books, listening to speakers and all that will get you started, but then your day will knock you around. Okay. So if you recognize that you're down, take a walk. If you're at home or if you're at the office, get out of your seat. Just recognize it. Don't try to bull through it. Okay. Mm-hmm. Get away. We used to call it when I started out going door-to-door sales when I was started out sales. So that was the hardcore stuff back when people actually were at reception desk and we could walk in and talk to somebody. But anyway, we were taught to just take a slow break, relax, chill out, go listen to some music. I'd rather have someone take a break for 10 or 15 minutes, 5 to 15 minutes, get their head back in order so they can be effective for another 45, than just try to trudge through for an hour and get mediocre results. So that's number one. Hang around positive people. I mean, I don't have anything new for you here. Hang around positive people, read good things, check yourself, and don't gossip. Don't hang out in the gossip corner of people. If you have anyone in your team like that, sure, be polite, listen a little bit, and figure out a way how to get out and go do something else, because they will just take you down. And if you're a sales leader, please don't contribute, and check that one. That was something that I was taught early on. Every 6 months, I probably got to have that. Like, hey guys, let's not pull ourselves down into the gossip column. Okay, let's just get to work here. So, so those are some things people can do, and then setting goals, of course. So yeah.
Yeah, I guess walk me through the steps that you would take if you came in to one of your fractional sales management positions and you could see that the number one problem was actually motivation. That's the key problem. They've got, they're targeting the right market. They've got good messaging. They've got the people in the right place. Walk me through the steps that you would take to resolve that issue if that was your core focus.
Okay, so first thing I got to find out is, first off, do we have goals? Do we have realistic goals? One of the questions we ask all the team is, does the company have goals, and are the goals important? In other words, sometimes they're just goals because they would be nice.
For the sake of it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'd be nice, but there's no accountability. There's no real yay or boo, if you don't hit the goals. And so just understanding the importance of that. And then back to the expectations, check the job descriptions, and check the tracking and monitoring. So basic fundamentals, goals, clear expectations of what they're supposed to do. Are they being asked to do other jobs? I just talked to someone today. It's like, oh yeah, I'm at the other company right now today. They just asked me to go do this other work. It's like, it's not even related to sales. They just pull it out.
Super common. Yeah. We see that all the time too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so just, I got to understand that are those aspects going on so I can be understanding about what the right expectation would be. So those are fundamentals, goals, expectations. And then do we have the right people? So we always do assessments going in to understand what people's energy are, their pace, their sociabilities, independence, decision-making. So I always do that every place I go, just to understand, did we get the right person here, or were they just a great employee in another department and kind of saw some extra money over here, so they wanted to give it a go? We'll never get rid of them because we love them. They're a great employee, So that's the other thing I go in. Do we have the right people in the right seats, and then kind of try to address that. So that's what we do going in. And then once all that's established, then it basically communicate that our job is to attain the goal. Just like when we ask a department to deliver a product or deliver a software solution, their job is to do that. Our job is to bring the money in, number of customers, number of money, and that's it. It's not like a good idea. It's not like, oh, you could make more money. It's like, it's our responsibility. So creating that in the culture, so people know that that's it, man. You got to come in and do it. So that's kind of what we get started at.
Nice. Very interesting. Perfect. I think that's a perfect place to kind of wrap it up. We've walked all the way through from the beginning, those couple of things that we're looking for when we're a sales manager, looking to motivate the team. We're looking to remove the obstacles. We're looking to enable through tools and systems. And one more?
I got just one quick thing.
Oh, yeah.
Ownership. So the owners of the company, if they're involved in the business still, sometimes we need to coach them on what they can do. They're the big provider of solving issues. And if they're not involved in helping us solve issues, it kind of falls flat. Sometimes they're also a large knowledge piece. So we invite them into sales meetings, not to be the sales leader, but to be there to provide some answers to questions that sales teams have, that we can get some quick answers and we can move on and keep growing the business. So the owner role and how we work with them as a sales leader, we can leverage that power and their authority, to do more for the team.
Absolutely. Perfect. So there's the owner in there as well. And then from that salesperson's perspective, what can they do to keep themselves motivated? So if people want to learn more from you, Rene, if they want to read your book, if they want to get in touch with you, where can they do that?
Oh, they can go to Sales Manager Now. We came up with that because if you need a sales manager now, come and find us, and we'll help you. Give us a call, set up a meeting, and we'll help you somehow, even if it's just on that call.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, we'll make sure to add that link so that you guys can find your way over there. Well, Rene, it was such a pleasure having you back on the Predictable Revenue podcast after it's probably been a year and a half, 2 years. So great to have you. The world has changed in those 2 years. So it's so interesting to see you again.
Yeah, right. It's great to be here, and just appreciate our, the kinship we have in both of our businesses, and we're serving a similar group. So thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too. And thank you to all of you guys for joining us on another episode of the Predictable Revenue podcast. Please, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button on YouTube so that you can be notified each week when we have wonderful guests joining us like Rene and other sales, marketing, customer success, revenue experts in general that can help you grow your business. We'll catch you next time.